Hi, how'd you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I am Neil Cole. I am the creator and curator of the Museum of Classic Sci-Fi in Northumberland, near the North Pennines, in a little village called Allendale. And I tell two stories in the museum. The first is a chronological history of classic era Doctor Who, story by story, wherever possible, as many objects from an object per story is what I'm trying to do, and I've got quite a few objects now. And it's a walk-through kind of visual book, if you like, of Doctor Who. Thoroughly researched, many of the props I've restored myself. The second story is a trip through sort of classic era science fiction, sort of pre-internet sci-fi, I always say, with a bit of Marvel comics thrown in because I grew up reading them. So it's all original movie props, costumes, all original production items and pieces. The whole thing is about, the whole sort of ethos is to share original pieces with you that you would otherwise get locked away in private collections or you'd never see. And I'm trying to sort of recreate my childhood experience at the 1970s Blackpool Doctor Who exhibition, which I visited aged 5, and it blew me away. And I've tried to recreate a little bit of that magic here.
Neil, what's inspired you for this?
The inspiration for the museum literally came from, I can see it to this day, years ago now, about, nearly 50 years ago. I was 5 and I was taken to Blackpool, the seaside town, one of my very few holidays away. Went to Blackpool and there, standing on the seafront, was the TARDIS. I was taken down into the TARDIS, and when you went downstairs, you suddenly went from a summer's day on the seafront into a radiophonic drenched corridor of props and monsters from that year's Doctor Who. And this was pre-VHS, pre-DVD, pre-streaming. You only ever saw these things once on the television. If you're lucky, you'd get a target book and read about the story again. And it was magic. And I would have stayed there all day, but I still had this whisk-through journey with my father. But that memory stayed with me, and I think I always loved ghost trains and these sort of just experiences where you, just for a little while, you could suspend your disbelief. And as a 5-year-old, it was like Christmas, Santa Claus. It was like a merge of reality and fiction, and it was wonderful. And I always wanted to do that. And then also, as I got older, I realised that these items from my favourite show did exist still. And what always struck me was often in exhibitions they were not thrown together, but they were put together quickly and there wasn't much research done with them. Or often in the later years of some of these items on public display from the Beeb, they were starting to fall to bits and they didn't seem to be looked after. And I thought, I felt I had the passion and the desire to really research each item, present them to the best I can. I mean, I'm not a big company, I haven't got infinite financial resources, so everything is built by myself. The plaques are designed and written by myself, researched by myself, but I thought I can do this with a bit of time over a few years. I thought I can put together something hopefully meaningful for other fans and something that's open, like the original exhibition, all year round. You can come and visit this and talk to me, we can reminisce all year round about Doctor Who, classic Doctor Who, because it's a special show. It's my childhood and your childhood watching this, I suspect, and it takes me back to my being in the living room with my parents, who long died many years ago, and it takes me straight back there.
Neil, can you share with us any Doctor Who alumni that may have walked through your wonderful doors?
Yeah, one of the things I did not expect when I opened this was for people who'd worked or starred in Doctor Who to actually turn up at the museum. Now, there's been some wonderful folk turned up from real-time pictures. There was Keith Barnfather, whose work I had followed for years, and when Keith turned up to actually film in a museum, that was very special. And also Sophie Aldred accompanied him to be the presenter of that. And then Sophie, Keith and I got to know each other and worked on a few things now, collaborations in the museum, and had little events here. So that was amazing. What I think has been sort of dumbfounding silly moments, not that that wasn't, Keith and Sophie if you're seeing it, what was really is when people that you've just seen on DVDs or you've read about for years, someone like Glenn McCoy just turns up, the writer of Time Lash, and he loved the museum and he loved the work I was doing here. Another lovely chap was Stephen Gallagher, travelled up, who was, you know, the writer of one of my favourite stories, you know, Warrior's Gate, and I love Terminus, and he came to see the Garm. And that was amazing, to have Stephen Gallagher talking to me about the Garm. So these moments do happen. They're quite memorable. And then what I also love is when people, fans, I was a lovely old friend of mine, Simon Horton, and he picked out his favourite item in here is the Snake Dance puppet head of the Mara from Snake Dance, sorry, the Manusan puppet head. And what I loved is that he took the time to see the little details I've put in, because to me, the museum is not just about the monsters, although I love the monsters. It's about the little pieces, the forgotten things that would get forgotten. And there's Bedwyr Gullidge again is a great friend and supporter, and he donated Tylos's knife from Full Circle. That was that's a very special piece because he donated that. Marty Fairgrew donated the Grugger costume there, and it's just things like that are so lovely that they loved what I was doing enough to donate parts of their collection to the museum, which is just fabulous. And it's just sort of like, I guess, reinforces that what I'm doing means something. One of the great pleasures of running this little museum, to be honest, is when people I've corresponded with from across the globe suddenly appear at the door. And Mark Dillon, who I have been in contact with for many years now and supports the museum, today has come and is filming me now in the museum. And it is just magical, to be honest, that people have come from, in Mark's case, Australia, via London, and come all this way just to see this. And I had a young lady also from Australia, Genevieve, who will probably hopefully see this, and it just means so much to me that people will make that sort of level of journey to visit this, and I guess see these old favourites, these old friends again. But the thing is, it's just, with Mark and I, we're both collectors, we both value these items very much, and it's an honour and humbling, to be honest, that people have come all this way. And I just want to thank Mark for his support of the museum, for coming all the way here, and I wish him all the best with his channel, and I hope you enjoyed this video.